Okay, so recently there's been accusations that are actually a pretty fairly common occurrence with our president. Accusations that Trump is racist. But these latest accusations come from Trump attacking Baltimore. So I'm just going to speak on that a little. And then I have a clip from the YouTube show The Hill. And one of the commentators there perfectly articulates how I feel about the situation as well. So I'll play that clip in a bit. But I just wanted to say how I feel and portray my thoughts on whether Trump is racist based on his latest comments about Baltimore. So I hear a lot of anecdotal evidence from people saying, "Oh, I've been to Baltimore. I know people from Baltimore, etc." And some of that anecdotal evidence points to Baltimore is a great place. The other says it's trash. My stepfather is from Baltimore. And there's a reason that he left Baltimore. And I'm just going to be honest. Baltimore's pretty horrible. Trump is not far off from the truth. Now, his comments are the way he, articulated his comments might have been harsh, and it might have been strong, and maybe he could have worded it better. But if anybody knows our president, is that Donald Trump, he doesn't have that certain je ne sais quoi, right? That's not going to happen. He's going to say how he feels, whether he's wrong or right, and it's not going to come across as smooth at all, right? So, do I think what he said was racist about Baltimore? No. Are majority of the individuals living in Baltimore African American? Yes. That's just what it is. That doesn't change the fact that Baltimore is one of the least livable, most dangerous cities in America. And it needs to be cleaned up. Now, on that same note, do I think Trump cares about Baltimore at all? No. He's using this situation with Baltimore as political jabs, right? Do I think he had any intention or any ideas as to clean up Baltimore at all? No. Do I think Elijah Cummings, whose 7th district covers much of Baltimore, do I think he needs to handle the situation in this city? Absolutely. And it's fair to point out. If almost anybody else had come out against Baltimore and had some harsh criticism against Baltimore, I don't think it would have received such a backlash. But we are on the heels of Trump going after AOC and some other progressive women, telling them to go back to where they came from. That was pretty recently, within the last couple days. And it just so happened those women were women of color. And they were progressive women of color. So, admittedly, Trump does have a history when it comes to black and brown people, Muslims, African Americans, you name it, Mexicans, with saying some BS. And I'm trying to clean up the language here because YouTube is not kidding around. So I can understand why people feel that way. And and I sympathize with people who feel attacked. But in this situation, in this Baltimore situation, he's not wrong. He said it was rodent infested, and it was a mess, and it was dangerous, and that was far worse and more dangerous than, the detention facilities. I have yet to go to any of these detention facilities. I know they're atrocious from what we've seen so far. But you got to understand, Baltimore is no walk in the park. It's dangerous, and it needs to be cleaned up. That's just the facts. And anybody over there pretending, simply because they have a visceral reaction against what Trump says, anybody pretending that, no, it's a great place to live, it's bogus. Can you find a spot or two in Baltimore that might not be as bad as the others? Sure, I'm sure you can. You can do that in a lot of places. But overall, Baltimore, it's not a great place to live. And I wouldn't recommend anybody going to live there. And there's been a lot of, there's been a lot of tragedy coming out of Baltimore. There was Freddie Gray. People still remember that. And the city is in an endemic. It's in an endemic poverty. And there's been rioting in the city, and the people of Baltimore, they struggle daily with joblessness and poverty and failing schools, infrastructure issues. It's rank with drug addiction. These are just the facts. You don't have to like it, and you still don't have to like Trump. But these are the facts about Baltimore, and it needs to be cleaned up. And again, I'll reiterate, do I think Trump cares about Baltimore? No. I don't think he cares about it. I don't think he intended to do anything about it. And if he does now go and try to clean up Baltimore, it's simply a political ploy. It would be a calculated move, and it's sort of to spit in the face of Elijah Cummings. On that note, Elijah Cummings needs to do more to help clean up that city. That's just how I feel about it. As far as the bigger question, is Trump racist? I can see why people would think that. Right? Me personally, I think all he cares about is green. I think if you're a poor white person and you're a poor black person, he looks at you all the same. He doesn't give two shits about you. Right? He does not care. All he cares about is money and status. Okay? So, that's just how I feel. If you feel otherwise, that's fine. And I understand that. And I can see why some people will lean that way. But look, I'm going to play this segment from The Hill. And one of the commentators, articulates how I feel about it as well. And he's actually the one I usually disagree with the most on The Hill, which I find that interesting. But if you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, comment in the section as to why you don't. I'm always down for some debate, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to listen to the video. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
I think it's interesting that he lost.
People don't want to feel like they're supporting a blatant racist. No. You can go too far with this stuff. And I'm not going to say that America is so far along that we will, abhor any racism. Clearly, that's not the case. People do not want to feel like they are actually supporting overt racism, which is what this is starting to feel
I don't think this is overt racism. I was just in San Francisco. I saw a woman shoot heroin into her neck in broad daylight. That's not okay. It's wrong. And there's nothing wrong with calling it out. In Baltimore, there are many of the same problems. Oh, yeah. And to see all this preening about how, like I said, people from Inner Harbor, you go to the Inner Harbor and you say Baltimore is a great city. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous.
Do you think the president's tweets were focused on his genuine concern for urban America?
I don't.
Then let's stop that. That's not even.
But that's what I mean. I mean, all these people were preening in the other direction, and it's just maddening to watch it. And it's like you said, Henry. And we have to come up here and be like, wait, actually, Baltimore's not great.
It's the rationalization of horrible tweets. Says, but maybe there's there's some underlying point there that we can grasp onto.
There is an underlying point. Yeah.
But he's not after the underlying
Every
point.
time I've been to Baltimore, it's been a disaster. I've seen someone selling drugs. I've seen people pass on the street, overdose on drugs. I see crime rates.
Have you called on the president to fix those things?
We wish you would. I call on the president right now to fix these things.
Yeah, I agree with you. I couldn't agree more with you, Henry.